The key word is vulnerability that you just said, huh? She's vulnerable. And vulnerable is always risky, but it's also extremely, extremely powerful in making connections.
Oh. Can you?
How many people are struggling with alcohol or with some form of addiction?
Certainly.
And it's the shame that can sometimes feed the addiction. When we start recreating, which is just another way of, she's recreated her life, huh? And she's doing it without shame, without secrecy. She's saying, this is what I did, and I could do it again.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, I was shocked when she said she still goes to AA meetings every week, and I'm like, but 11 years, girl, you got this. She's like, you know, you're always one drink away.
One drink away.
And the mentoring aspect of it too is empowering for her and for other people, and it's part of the tenets, isn't it? Like you have to give back.
Yes.
Help keep pulling someone else up.
And I picked up also a kind of a sense of and I think it's real. The first step we talk about is being powerless. I'm powerless over alcohol. Okay. Mm-hmm. Powerless doesn't mean I don't have power. It's just I don't have power over alcohol.
Ah, well said.
Powerless doesn't mean I don't have resources.
Yes.
Huh?
Right.
We really need to think about this. I'm all about powerless, but it doesn't mean that I don't have some power in life to recreate my life.
Right, right. You know, I was talking to somebody last night. I was at an event, and we were discussing Beverly being so open about what she is doing. It was her campaign kickoff. And she said, you know, because in Louisiana, you can be a lot of things. But when you say that you have a problem with alcohol, people here really don't connect with that very much. They don't respect the fact that you come out and say, hey, I have a problem, I'm not doing it anymore. I thought that was interesting because I've never really thought of it in those terms. I mean, I've never really thought that. I've just always thought it's like any other addiction, and people are very understanding. But anyway, it'll be interesting. Yeah, she is putting a new face on sobriety.
She is, and you know, I'm reminded of that movie Terms of Endearment when she says, "I'm not an alcoholic, I'm Irish," and and I think Southeast Louisiana particularly would like to say, "I don't have a problem with alcohol. I live in Southeast Louisiana." And it's a kind of a bit of a denial because there really may be a problem with alcohol.
Well, you know, what this person was saying, they were like, you know, many people don't trust anybody who they can't have a drink with. They're like, I'll trust if you can have a drink together, but if we can't, I don't know if I trust you so much. So that is interesting.
There is an environmental aspect to it. I remember when I was working with the military, and I think I tell you, I was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Nobody drank. It was water and bicycles. Now, I'm sure there was probably alcohol, but I wasn't around. I didn't.
Yes, and you came back.
Not to, and I got into the exercise. I got into exercise. I was doing. I was nutritious. I lost 50 pounds. Came back to Southeast Louisiana. That's not fair. I could have maintained it. That's where.
You know, I tried to motivate you. I'm like, come on, Nikki, you can do it. You look too good to turn back, baby. And you still look good, but you were buff, baby.
Yeah, those are the good old days. But I found myself just holding her in just higher respect. That's the power of vulnerability, of just naming it and not being ashamed of it and say, I am a recovering alcoholic or I'm a recovering drug addict. And I work sometimes with people who say, oh, I lost 5 years of my life because I was on drugs and I dropped out of college. And sometimes I really want to say, well, but did you enjoy the 4 years? and really they'll look at me like, well, you know, I guess they really weren't that bad. I was just crazy. I said, you were 19, you were 20. It was your first taste of freedom. You went crazy for a while.
Right, but you're not crazy now.
She's off of it now and in recovery and doing well and recreating her life. And I'm like, let it go. It was 19.
And don't we all have to go through those periods? I mean, it can be in adolescence or it can be another time where we don't always make the right decisions. We're rebellious. We're maybe not doing what's best for us. I mean, you hope.
We don't go to class.
Yeah. You hope, maybe it's not always 4 years long, but we've all had those chapters in our lives where we were a little irresponsible.
Yes, and a little cuckoo. I'm working with an adolescent who's really struggling, and I always love to do this because I always think it's important. So I always stand in the middle of the door, 1 foot outside and 1 foot in.
Okay.
And I'm like, how do you like living like this? I said, come stand here, 1 foot in this room, 1 foot. She said, that's really weird. I said, well, that's kind of where you're living.
Oh.
In between
Yeah.
childhood and adulthood. So you're going to be a little crazy, and you're going to explore, and you're going to experiment, and you're going to want to do, and we just have to track it and make sure that your exploration is also in very good things. That's part of the recreation.
I see.
That I think she's into. That's personal.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But when I say exploring, not to take it off of her, because I do think she's powerful, but it's also, it doesn't always have to be drugs and alcohol to explore. We could also explore what it's like to go to the food center and help serve food.
Oh, absolutely.
That's experimenting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? Or that could even be part of one's recovery.
Absolutely.
Acts of kindness and service and purpose beyond. That's why I just think it's so important to stay in some form of service. And by the way, she's making statesmanship come back.
You're right.
It's not. I didn't get the sense that it was about politics. It was really about service.
Absolutely.
Statesmanship.
Absolutely.
And we could always use more of that.
Absolutely.
A concern for the common good. A concern for real. How do we make this world work?
Yeah, I'm reminded, and I tell people often, anybody who is just in their own head too much, in their own problems, and they're just wallowing, I'm like, you're not doing enough for other people. If you want to forget about your troubles or your anxiety or whatever path you're on that you think isn't working right, just go help some.
Yes.
Go help other people.
And
you will find yourself back on your track before you know it.
You're creating that life that you don't have to escape from.
Oh, that's right.
It's like if you're too focused on yourself, you're escaping from your life. I know it sounds so paradoxical.
But it's true.
But it's true. It is paradoxical. Too much time on my worrying, huh?
That's right.
Or whatever the angst is. Too much, and I'm not living.
Thank you, Dr. Nick.
And we'll be right back. That's your line.
I'll share more Weekends with Whitney after this.
Sorry.